Welcome in to the Mile High Hoops podcast. I am Jake Shapiro, and we are talking all things Denver Nuggets basketball. And today, Tuesday we talked about how exciting the matchup was going to be between the Nuggets and the Celtics. Got a little disappointed because Nikola Jokic didn't play, and then he didn't play again last night against the Clippers. So today, we're talking a little bit about the guys around Nikola Jokic because we focus mostly on them, but we don't give them enough love. And over the last two nights, they kind of showed that they are a real NBA team around Nikola Jokic. It's not just Jokic being an MVP and doing absolutely everything on the court without them. No, these guys are capable as well. Obviously, most of them won a championship with Jokic just 2 years ago, but impressive efforts nonetheless. And it's funny to say this about a game in which the Nuggets didn't even cover the spread without Jokic. But man, oh man, they fought against that Boston Celtics team who was very, very good. I thought Russell Westbrook was, pretty impressive. Too much Russ at times, took away some of the greatness and wore off some of the shine that he polished in that game. But for them to fight and make it a 40-minute contest when they were getting absolutely nothing from the combined centers of Dario, DeAndre, and Zeke, I thought was extremely impressive. We're going to talk a lot about Peyton Watson later on in the podcast. But him in that game, especially coming off of guarding Victor Wembanyama to size to Kristaps Porzingis and match his intangibles and what he does on the court. And then a night later against Norm Powell, guards him. I thought that was so impressive from Peyton Watson and kind of representative of some of the different things he could do. Julian Strother pouring in 19 off the bench against the Boston Celtics, hitting those three balls. And the Nuggets not only taking, but making more threes than the Celtics, who lead the NBA in both of those categories. The Nuggets actually are a more efficient team because they shoot less, but Celtics are a great three-point shooting team, and that was really impressive. And, I thought Jamal did some really good things in that game. Maybe didn't show up completely in the box score because he goes 8 for 17, but thought that was really solid. And, I'm always clamoring for more Michael Porter Jr. Thought Michael Porter Jr. set the tone early in that contest, ended up with a double-double, was the Nuggets' best rebounder, no doubt, in that game. And I feel like he just doesn't get used enough in the second half of games at times, especially in the nights without Jokic or without Murray or without a big piece. And they've been playing without Aaron Gordon now for quite a while, since Christmas. A night later, they go up against the Clippers, and that was one of the most impressive first quarters of the season. The Nuggets win the first quarter of that game 33-19. Then they proceed to win all four quarters of the game. They win the second by a couple points, third by a couple points, fourth by just a couple points again. It was impressive to me because I've talked about it on this podcast, how much the Nuggets have struggled with Norm Powell and James Harden. Norm Powell still goes off for 30 in this game, but James Harden held to 16. I'm looking at Norm Powell's game logs right now because I'm pretty sure, he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 30-point games on the season. 2 of them have come against the Nuggets, and then he also had a 28-point game. So Norm Powell having some of the best games of the season against the Nuggets, which isn't so surprising because, again, the Nuggets have kind of that roster construction issue with the point of attack defense, and Norm Powell can exploit it because he's a crafty, smaller guard. But you got to give a lot of love in this game to DeAndre Jordan, who slides into the starting lineup, has 12 points and 9 rebounds. Seems like once a year against the Clippers, DJ just has a performance that turns back the clock. So you love to see that. Porter was, again, awesome in this game. 8 rebounds, 8 of 12 shots, 19 points. Jamal, 21 and 9, really stepping up. And, Jamal's getting a lot of hate here recently again. I again say, calm down. It's a long contract. Let's see how this goes. Julian adding 4 threes off the bench is just so invaluable. And then, again, Peyton Watson, 4 blocks against the Celtics, has 2 against the Clippers. And Russell Westbrook's energy Just really impressive, collecting 8 assists, 6 rebounds, and 19 points in the contest. Obviously, the 3-ball wasn't there last night like it was against the Celtics, but he was doing absolutely everything else. And again, this is basically all you can ask for from a minimum contract guy, and the Nuggets are getting a lot of that. And able to rest a lot of these guys, aside from Jamal, no one plays 30 minutes in the starting lineup going into this game because, well, the fourth quarter was a blowout. So you love to see that, especially in the Nuggets stretch of games through January where they're playing a condensed schedule, and Jokic out the last 2 games of the illness, Aaron Gordon already out. So I thought the Nuggets did a phenomenal job in the last 2 games without Nikola Jokic, putting together a great fight against a great Boston team, and then beating the Clippers team, which has given them issues really badly to the point where they were able to rest guys in the fourth quarter. So more than what you could ask for from the fellas. And then they take on Brooklyn Friday here in Denver. Brooklyn is not having a good season, and they are purposely trying to lose more games. It seems they've lost 3 in a row, and 6 of their last 7, their 1-win game against the Bucks, which was funny to watch. They have, well, I'll put it this way. At one point, they were 9-10. Now they are 13-24. So 4 wins and 14 losses since Thanksgiving, just about. And they're on one of those rough road trips that includes Denver, Utah, Portland, LA, Oklahoma City. So to start that road trip would be nice to see the Nuggets just go away from the Brooklyn Nets, make it not a contest. In that one. And then the Nuggets, before I talk to you next on Tuesday against Dallas, will face Dallas Sunday. They've got a little baseball style series in Dallas against the Mavericks, who could be without Luka and Kyrie. So you're looking at this contest as, again, I talked about this if they've beaten the Celtics, which, again, this was under the assumption of Nikola Jokic, but you have a chance to stack some wins here against the Nets and perhaps the Mavericks in 2 road games. Getting the win against the Clippers last night was so big for the tiebreaker because the Clippers are very similar to the Nuggets in the standings. Same could be said for the Dallas Mavericks, again, without Luka and Kyrie, perhaps. So if you could get those tiebreakers and stack some wins, that would be huge. Tough game against Houston. Then you've got Miami, who is scuffling, Orlando, who is without their stars but still playing strongly, and then Philadelphia here to start the second half of the season, a game that everyone will be watching to see if you know who plays. But this thought popped into my head watching the last 2 Nuggets games, which is in their current roster construction, and assuming Nikola Jokic is healthy, but maybe, Aaron Gordon isn't, and I've been looking at it, and there are some metrics that lend some credence, as well as the eye test here, that Peyton Watson should be starting over Christian Brown, especially when Michael Porter Jr. is the 4 and Russell Westbrook is the 2. Peyton, I think, is a little bit more natural of a 3. Obviously, he is a forward. Christian is a guard. Than Christian is. And I've been mulling over this thought, which is I think the Nuggets ceiling, the highest it can get. Obviously, we've talked about this with Jamal playing well, Mike playing well, and Aaron doing certain things. But the Nuggets' highest ceiling for their starting lineup might actually include Peyton Watson, and that is even when Aaron Gordon comes back. And because the Nuggets tried to make Christian Brown a little bit of a point guard last year, he does have some playmaking capabilities that Peyton does not. But I personally believe that Christian isn't enough of a playmaker, like Goldilocks zone a little bit. And you already have Aaron, Jamal, and Nikola out there doing playmaking things. That I think the difference between Christian's playmaking and Peyton's playmaking in the starting lineup with absolutely everyone healthy is negligible. And Peyton is just about the same amount of threat from 3 as Christian is. Both guys shoot very similar metrics over 100 possessions, both in percentages and takes and makes. And I think what we learned when the Nuggets were at their best 2 years ago is that size is so important to this team that if Peyton is able to keep up with these smaller guards like we've seen him be able to do, there are a lot of matchups that make more sense for Peyton Watson to actually be, call it the starting 2 guard, because Michael Porter Jr. at 6'10" would still be the small forward, over Christian. Now, I want to see the lineup a little bit more. Peyton hasn't played that much with Nikola Jokic, hasn't played that much with the starting guys. Got that opportunity when Aaron was out. We've rarely seen Aaron and Peyton play together, but I really enjoy watching Peyton in the front court with Michael Porter Jr. I think that's a good front court. I think that's a good backup option for the Nuggets, especially for a team that most likely will roll out Aaron Gordon as the backup center come playoff time. So I'm clamoring for more Peyton Watson and more important minutes because I think he offers some stuff that Christian Braun doesn't. Screen navigation, maybe he's not as good as KCP. Not sure where he ranks next to Christian, but what Peyton can do that Christian can't is he can come back on a play and block a ball. And I'm loving the athleticism. And I've always thought that Peyton had the potential to be a star in this league. Anything he gives you on offense is like a little bit extra because his defense is just that good. And his offense has been solid recently. Peyton struggled definitely the first 6 weeks of the season. Now he's not. So I'd be interested to see Peyton in some different lineups, and that's something I would like to see the Nuggets try to do, especially if they're short in the front court, if Jokic misses more time, and with Aaron probably likely to miss more time. So more Peyton Watson, please. Not necessarily less Christian Braun, just maybe a little bit more creativity with it. And that's something I'll be looking for this weekend. I'm Jake Shapiro. This is the Mile High Hoops podcast. Make sure you like and subscribe to everything on Denver sports. We are covering the heck out of the Denver Broncos right now in the playoffs. They take on the Buffalo Bills this weekend. We will have the latest and greatest all up on our YouTube channel. So make sure you like and subscribe. I'm Jake Shapiro, Mile High Hoops podcast.